Okay, so then let's look at questions in the past tense using the be verb again, be. So, be in the past tense. Again, the subject and verb are swapped over, which is the be verb here. So, he was in China. He was in China. That's it, statement. But then they swap them over, swap around. Was he in China? Was he? Question mark. Was he? Yes, no, maybe. But look, this was is the past tense for be. Be. Was he in China? Was he? So that's simply past tense questions. Was he in China? But they could say, were you? Were you? Depending on the subject, were you in China? Was I in China? Were they in China? Was and were. Was and were. Were you in China? Were you? You. Was I in China? Was I in China? No, I wasn't. Was I? Were they? Were they? Was only really goes, was I? Was he? Was he, she, it? Was he? She and it. And were. Was the community. Was the city. Yeah, that works too. Was the car. Yeah, it. Yeah, it. Was the city. Was the car. But were you. Were we. Were they. Were we. They. You. We. They. Were I. Were we. Were us, was us, were us, were we. That's us. That's we again, yeah. Yeah, so it. Very good. But we use was, talk about the past tense. Was I in China? Were we in China? Could say, were you in England last year? Were you? Was I in Mexico this year? Yes, I was. And the answer continues with the consistent verb as well, the be verb. Was I in Mexico? Yes, I was. Was I? Was I? Yes, I was. Was I? Yes, I was. Were you? Yes, you were. But then if I say, were you in England? You will then say, yes, I was. Were you in England? Yes, I was. Yeah. Actually, yes, I were. Yes, I was. Well, the thing with these is you can use either one, generally, with a native English speaker, and they'll understand you quite perfectly. Something might click in their head where it's not quite right, but they'll understand you nonetheless quite easily. Yeah. But then it gets a bit more complicated with the auxiliary verbs. Have, will and could. So if they are present in the statement to begin with, she has finished her novel, then only those two, the verb and the subject, swap places. Verb and subject swap places. Has she finished her novel? The sentence is the same. Finished her novel, repaired the car, written the book, climbed the mountain, walked to the park, taught the lesson. Has he? Has she? But then we have has and have. Have they? Has she? He? It. Has it? Has it been fed yet? Have we? Have we been to Spain? Have I? Have I? Have I been to Spain? Yes, I have. Have you? Have you? Have you been to Spain? I don't know. Yes, I have. No, I haven't. Yes, you haven't. No, you haven't. Yeah, so it's worth understanding that the be verb changes depending on the tense of the question. So be is, are, am, was, were. How would you do future tense? Will. Will. Will you go to... Will... is he going to China? Will you go to China? She could have finished her novel. Could she have finished her novel? Will she finish, without the ed, will she finish her novel? Or we could say, will she have finished her novel by 2022? Will she have finished her novel by 2022? But we're getting ahead of ourselves. The point is to remember, if there's an auxiliary verb in the statement, then that swaps places with the subject. She has she. And the past tense for be is was, were, depending on the subject that follows it. Was I in Mexico last year? Were you in Mexico this year? She has finished her novel. Has he written the book? Has he picked up the dry cleaning? Has he cleaned the kitchen? Have they been to Spain? Have we been to Argentina? Have I seen the mouse? No, I haven't. Have you seen the mouse? The mouse? Yeah. Very good. Let's keep going.